This is in no way directed to politics or the current pandemic. This is about people who will not admit they were wrong on anything and are unwilling to even have a discussion with you and listen to your side. They don't care about the truth or facts. Normal response. No one likes to lose, fail, or be wrong. We naturally push back against it, which causes an uncomfortable feeling in us, such as when we hold an idea and are then shown facts that we were wrong and mistaken. Most people will, when they accepted the new information, change their opinion or beliefs. They admit they were wrong and can even feel more empowered as they now have new information and maybe even a new way to look at the world. But narcissists cannot admit they were wrong. They will fight it for as long as they possibly can. For them, being wrong brings deep insecurities and a feeling of fear. They feel as if their life is being threatened. They are not driven by facts, but by powerful emotions that override their logic. If they are rational enough, they will accept the new information, but find someone or something to blame so that they can project their emotions onto it. It is not them that failed, but the other person or object that let them down. However, for some, the emotions are so overwhelming that they become psychologically rigid. Their brains are incapable of even processing the idea that they are wrong, even in the face of overwhelming, irrefutable evidence. The reason is an extremely fragile ego. Fragile ego. All narcissists suffer from a fragile ego and a deep sense of insecurity. All fear deep down they are not good enough. How they manifest it just differs from person to person. The outgoing and grandiose narcissist may seem confident, but it is a mask. They masquerade arrogance as confidence. The more fragile their ego is, the harder it is for them to admit they were wrong. A narcissist ego is their sense of self, their identity. Normal people can disassociate their ego from their sense of self or their self-worth. They can be wrong and still feel worthy. A narcissist sees things as black and white. For them, being wrong means they are useless, broken, and unworthy of even being alive. Those who cannot admit they are wrong in any circumstance have such fragile egos that to even think of being wrong or having made a mistake is so threatening to the ego that it is intolerable to them. Their brain will literally block out the possibility of being wrong to protect them. A narcissist cannot stand who they actually are. All hate their true self and create a mask or facade of who they want to be. That is who they project out to the world. To admit that their facade is not perfect in even one instance would be so psychologically shattering to them that their world will come crumbling down. Thus, their defense mechanisms will literally distort their perception of reality to make it less threatening for them. Facts that they see with their own eyes are distorted in their minds automatically to suit their needs. If they said something is blue and you hold it up to them and show it is red, their minds will distort what they see and they will argue with you that it is blue. Or they will come up with some story that often doesn't even make sense, such as saying, "You painted it red. It was blue when they last saw it." If you told them to stop for bread and they say there is enough only for there to be none when you get home, they may even claim that you came home at lunchtime and ate the bread just to make a fool of them, as they knew there was enough bread this morning. Being wrong is death. Conceding that they are fallible brings up deep psychological anxiety in a narcissist. They fear the ripple effect that it will hold for them. That's why many refuse to change their ways even when it is no longer working for them. They fear that even just one small change or admitting one small character flaw will cause the whole life to come crumbling down. However, this is often not a conscious thought. It comes from their unconsciousness and is expressed in extreme emotional pain when they are faced with the truth. Truth to them is a gun to their head, and accepting the truth is them pulling the trigger. How far will they go? Psychologically fragile people have no limit to what they will do to protect their reality. Even if you show them DNA evidence or reports on experiments done, they will just sidestep it and claim you cannot trust scientists, or that labs make mistakes. However, just refusing to listen to, look at, or consider any evidence or viewpoint other than theirs is not always the concern. It is how violent they can get. The more fragile their ego is, the faster they react with violence or cursing. You will often see it when you respond to a comment on a YouTube video or social media post. You may honestly want to help and present your information, But instead of a constructive discussion, the other person immediately responds by calling you names and attacking your character. No matter what you say, they keep on attacking you and calling you brainwashed or stupid or other names. If you were to confront such a person in public, they may even go so far as to attack you physically. Some will not even be able to handle the fact that you disagreed with them. They may go out of their way to smear your name or even try to ruin your life, going so far as planting evidence in your car or house and framing you for a crime, or getting you busted for possession of drugs. Some will even kill you to remove the threat to their ego. They will willingly ruin their own life as long as they ruin or kill yours, and they get to hold on to their beliefs. If exposure is too great, such as them being publicly exposed, they often leave everything behind, including their family, and run away. Some will even kill themselves or stage their own death and then disappear. You cannot change their minds. It is hard to argue with a person who refuses to give in. They may seem stubborn and ill-informed or rigid, but this is not the case. Their psychological rigidity is not a sign of strength. It is a sign of extreme weakness. They are not choosing to stand their ground and willfully refuse new evidence. They are compelled to do so to protect their extremely fragile ego. To their mind, the facts do not matter. What matters is protecting their image and sense of self, and they are prepared to kill or die doing it. Admitting they are wrong requires emotional strength and courage that they do not possess, as well as they don't value truth and honesty. They live only to protect their false image and ego. Give them the truth and they will say, "I don't care." How to deal with it? If someone immediately attacks you, your character or your facts, the moment you disagree with them, walk away. They are not interested in hearing what you have to say. All they are interested in is protecting their fragile ego. No matter what facts or logic you present, they will distort reality to fit their narrative. It can be devastating to see someone you love or care for heading for disaster, and no matter how you plead with them to change or take a certain action, they just keep doing the same thing. Some will willingly lose their job, marriage or life over a small matter, such as apologizing to a co-worker who they hurt while claiming the other person was wrong. The hardest for you will be to accept that there is nothing you can do to change this person. For them to change, they first have to admit they have a problem, and they cannot even do that. You need to take care of yourself and make sure they do not drag you down with them or drive your life into a wall with them. For due to their inability to admit they are wrong, they struggle to learn from their mistakes and often make the same mistakes over and over. This is how their brains are wired, that started from even before they were born and hardened over their childhood years. Their minds cannot admit they are wrong and change course even in the face of a national catastrophe. Never being wrong is a hill they are prepared to die on.